in your supplement, you can expand the surface water script folder, and I'm going to show you this script, smoothing vectors. Same code, but now we have a couple of extra lines. You can see there's an extra line here where we are resampling the image. So we take our water processed image and we say apply a bicubic resampling. Resampling is a process where if you want to create a new pixel, how would you create the new pixel? So let's say I have this 4 pixels. And let's say I want to create a new pixel of this shape and size. And maybe I want to create an image with this size pixels here. So my source image in blue, and I want to create those target pixels in red. How do I create this? In Earth Engine, if you just say, I want a 5-meter pixel or a 30-meter pixel image from a source 10-meter image, it'll just take this pixel grid, overlay the new pixel grid, and the default method it'll use is nearest neighbor. So it'll take the pixel center, find the pixel that is nearest to it, and assign its value to this pixel. Similarly here, it'll take the pixel center and say this is the nearest pixel, and it'll take this value and assign it to this pixel. That's a default method for resampling data. So default method is nearest neighbor. That results in this blocky look. And again, this is fine for scientific data. That's why it's nearest neighbor. Because when you have scientific observation, you don't want to interpolate unnecessarily. You want to retain those observations as much as possible. But since we are doing cosmetic changes and we want to have smoother visual appearance, we can say we want to change the resampling to be something different. There are 2 other methods by linear. So it'll take the neighboring pixels and do an inverse distance mapping. So the value of this, the closest pixel will be weighted more, the further pixel will be applied more, and so on. And bicubic will fit a cubic formula to find the value. Bilinear is faster, bicubic is slower, but bicubic results in a more smoother appearance for our data. So in this case, apply a bicubic resampling to it, and then convert this to vector at 10-meter scale. Remember our 30-meter pixels? We are now saying create the small 10-meter pixels, but when you create the new pixel, use this bicubic resampling. And when you do this, you'll see that my results are smoother. You'll see the edges will be smoothed out because we did resampling, and you can see this now edges are much smaller because they're 5-meter pixels, and you can get this smoothed out. You can keep going down as much as possible to 1 meter, and you get even smoother edges. The downside of this is when you export this, it'll be a gigantic shapefile because you have so many pixels around that. And then you can apply, once you have that shapefile, you can simplify it in some software like MapShaper or QGIS, which will give you a kind of a lesser file size. But again, this is a technique for smoothing. You can also download this polygon, and software like QGIS has a smoothing operation built in. So you can just smooth the vectors in other GIS software as well after downloading it. But if you want to do this with Earth Engine, apply resampling, and you can then use a smaller scale to export data. If you don't do this line and just do 10, you'll still get those blocks because again, it's doing the nearest neighbor thing by default, so you'll get those large blocks. So resampling is important. If the native resolution was 30, why did we choose 10? And that's how we get smoother image. So we say create smaller pixels by resampling the original pixels doing bicubic interpolation. So we're doing interpolation and setting a smaller pixel size, and you get the smaller, smoother edges. If you kept 30, it would not change the image because you are just creating the same size pixel. There's no resampling happening at that point. Resampling will happen when you change the pixel size.